If you're a guy and you're going #1 and you get the shivers all over your body, then you understand the feeling of finally getting an action figure that you have been yearning for so long. That figure that you've actually had like wet dreams about actually purchasing. Well, I'm about to get straight into this video before it gets any weirder. But today we're actually going to be talking about some of the Hasbro Marvel Legends offerings. For those people that aren't too familiar, there was a Hasbro PulseCon that happened earlier today, and don't blame me for not tuning in. I was too busy at work and just getting stuff done, but I did catch a little bit of a recap through their shorts and some random reveals here and there through social media. But the one that really caught my eye was the new Spider-Man Marvel Legends that are supposed to be based, I'm assuming, on the No Way Home film. However, I did not actually watch the live stream, and based on the images, I'm assuming that they're skewing more towards their original source material. So you have, for example, the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man with the actual Amazing Spider-Man retro carded packaging. Same thing with the Tobey Maguire, and so on and so forth. So I'm going to assume that these skew a little bit closer to their original appearances in their own franchises. Again, I didn't watch the live stream. I'm just going off of the images from the listings going live on Amazon and other different websites. But I have to say, I am somewhat blown away that Hasbro would do something like this. I know a lot of people are going to complain about the fact that they just recently released that 3-pack No Way Home Spider-Man Legends pack, but personally, I think most of us saw this coming. I think they were just going to look, eventually they were going to look for an opportunity to reuse these body molds, and I think this is a perfect opportunity for them. I personally did not pick up the 3-pack, so I can definitely understand the frustration and the anger coming from some fans. But again, this is just another opportunity for those people that maybe aren't interested in a Tom Holland. Wink, wink, that's just me personally. I'm not a Tom Holland guy. So it's a perfect opportunity for us to go out there and pick up an Andrew Garfield and a Tobey Maguire action figure. These do have some really good articulation as far as I can see from the promotional images. They do come with the butterfly joints. They come with the double jointed knees, all that good stuff, and the double ab articulation, which I think was introduced with the retro carded Spider-Man that came out a couple of years ago. And I personally really like the body mold. Like I mentioned, I know a lot of people hate pinless. I don't really mind it, but it is definitely an upgrade. Same thing with the double jointed or the double ab crunch that these action figures have. They look absolutely brilliant. All 3 figures also come with 3 alternate head sculpts, so they can either be masked or unmasked. It's really up to you. And again, it was one of the bigger things missing in that No Way Home 3-pack. Another really big point of emphasis was Tom Holland's suit. This is supposed to be the suit that comes out at the end of No Way Home. I think up to this point, we had only received like an SH Figuarts version, or a couple of like 1/4 version, but never, or up to this point, not a Marvel Legends rendition of this character. So it's definitely not technically just re-releases of these figures. I believe the lines are painted in on the Tobey Maguire action figure as well. So they're little minor things, but they're not just ported into a new packaging. They're actually to an extent new figures with new head sculpts. I will say there is a big huge downside in terms of accessories, but that's been something that we've covered on the channel before. It seems like Hasbro's going away from including webbing accessories unless they're going for that deluxe price. So in this particular case, most of these Spider-Man Marvel Legend action figures will only come with 4 hands total and then the extra head sculpt, which personally doesn't sound too bad because we have received retro carded action figures in the past, and not even too long ago, that only included extra hand here and there, and there were some that included no extra accessories. So the fact that they include a couple of hands and a head sculpt for Hasbro at this point is actually, the head sculpt seems kind of like a bonus at the $24.99 price tag. Again, I'm not supporting their choice or their decision to do that, but I'm just stating that at this point the market kind of dictates, or at least they've made it dictate, that we should only get like 2 extra hands. But the extra head sculpt is really nice. We're also getting a Matt Murdock from the MCU. Personally, again, it's kind of a pass for me. I haven't really jumped into the MCU as much, but it's nice for those people that really want a Daredevil that is again based on his appearance from the film. Nothing too special. We've seen that suited like normie looking body mold for the Marvel Legends before, and this just seems to be kind of a reuse of that. But again, it's a really nice touch for Hasbro to kind of dig a little bit deeper into that particular film. I didn't think that we would get just random Matt Murdock that shows up for like 10 minutes in the film, but it's a really nice touch from Hasbro to give the fans something like this. Now, moving on, they are giving us a Sandman as well, which is probably maybe my favorite. I get it, people are going to complain it's a little plain, there's not much going on here, but he does come with a plethora of different accessories. He comes with 6 hands total, and that also includes 2 extra attachments in case you want to port on the bigger hands. Unfortunately, for some reason, this figure does seem to be missing some of that newer body articulation. It does not have any butterfly joints, no double jointed ab crunch, but I guess it does make up for the fact that he comes with extra accessories. So I guess you can't have everything. You either get the great articulation and the extra head sculpt, or you get a bunch of hands and, you know, bigger pieces of plastic shoved in your packaging. They're also including one more MCU MJ into this wave. She comes with extra fisted hands, which is baffling to me because, as I mentioned earlier, we have received some legit quote-unquote action figures. I mean, characters that actually get into action without any extra hands or any extra accessories, and yet MJ gets some extra fists. But it is what it is. If you want an extra MJ, or if you don't have an MCU MJ in your display yet, you can pick her up, and she does come in that really cool retro packaging, which, as I mentioned, every single figure in this particular wave comes in that retro carded wave packaging. And as I said at the beginning of the video, I completely get the argument against Hasbro here, because they did do some pretty sketchy stuff. They left the extra head sculpts out of the 3-pack, and then they left the extra accessories, the extra hands, out of the single carded versions. But let's be brutally honest, the re-release was going to come whether it was now or later. We see them often reuse a lot of these action figures. So I personally, as I said, I understand people's frustration, but I also understand that they have to get as much money as they possibly can out of all of these body molds. And for us to assume that Hasbro is the only company doing this, I think is a little bit hypocritical. We've seen McFarlane, for example, just give us white and black repaints, or we see Mattel use a lot of the same body molds, and the list just goes on and on of a lot of these manufacturers doing this type of shady, and I wouldn't even call it shady work, it's just business. They're trying to reuse the body mold as much as they possibly can, and up to this point I don't think that they've overused either one of these. I think that you got one version of each character with the 3-pack, and I guess you could kind of pick and choose. Do you want the extra head sculpts, or do you want the extra hand accessories and web effects? As I said earlier, I don't think you should have to choose, but in this particular case you're going to have to, because the hobby is getting quite expensive. And really, the wave as a whole, I think the fact that Sandman still remained at the $25 price point, they could have easily sold this as a deluxe action figure for some unknown reason, or made him an exclusive to a particular store, and they could have spiked up the price just a little bit. I think as a wave, it's just a really well priced wave considering the market and considering the prices for a lot of these action figures, not just from Hasbro, but just in general from McFarlane, from Mattel, from Jada Toys. I think it makes sense. The pricing seems adequate for what you're getting. But that's just my personal opinion, my personal take. What other figures would you like to see from the newer No Way Home film, a Jamie Foxx shocker? The possibilities are endless here, but let me know down in the comment section. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Hit the like button, subscribe, all that good stuff. Stay tuned, because we're always making new action figure content. So stay tuned, and I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you.